Good morning, traders. How are we doing? Hope everybody is doing well this morning. This is the last trading day of the year. I just kind of can't believe it. I don't know how about you guys. I don't know how you guys are feeling, but I cannot believe that the year has come to a close. We've been through so much this year, you know? We had Silicon Valley Bank collapse. Of course, we had 4 interest rate hikes this year. Full percent, 4 25 bip hikes. I mean, it's been crazy, just like the amount of stuff that's been going on. We had the AI revolution really kind of took hold, it seems. Gosh, what else? I don't know. What's up, G Sal? Happy New Year to you. How are you doing today? Thank you for saying hello. There are a few of you guys here. I'm not going to be here super long today. On Wednesday when I went live, I said I'd go live today. Today ended up getting quite busy, so I'm a little bit limited on time. But I wanted to pop in, go live, see how you guys are feeling, see if anybody had any questions about anything. Kind of surprising, I guess not surprising. This is what they do, right? Selling the market off on the last day of the year seems like a cruel joke. Maybe, hopefully, potentially, they'll ramp it back up and we can close at or near the highs. The all-time highs, at least on the Qs. Wouldn't you love to see it? A nice all-time high close? I'd like to see it. I'm curious, you know, I mean, it's the last day of the year, so probably most people are like preparing their New Year's celebrations. Nobody's trading today, right? Like, where's volume at right now? I haven't been paying a ton of attention because I've been working on other things. Yeah, volume's just been drying up, really. I mean, honestly, over the past couple of days, as I'm sure any of y'all who've been trading this have seen. So what's up? What are we doing here today? G Sal, what do you want to talk about? There's a few of you guys. Welcome to a couple of the new folks that just tuned in. Implement go no go for scanner and strategy tester. Man, I'll tell you what, that would be pretty dope, wouldn't it? I would love that. I don't know what the plan is on that. I can actually, though, since we're here quietly hanging out, I was just playing around. We're gonna be offering a go no go suite here pretty soon. Now this is gonna be a paid suite, so you're aware. It is a paid suite, but you know, everybody's used to the standard go no go. I'm sure you've been using it for some time if you're asking about it, but they're adding a couple of things. They're adding this go no go oscillator, which is like a momentum oscillator, which is pretty sweet. I'm not going to go into details about how these things work, but just know that they're coming. We've got this guy. This is the go no go. I've heard a couple of different names for this. The go no go icons, but also go no go trend pro. So it'll label when we switch from go to no go and back. But also there are these trend continuation markers, which is pretty cool. These little green and red dots are going to be trend continuation markings. So like, you know, if you're in an uptrend, you see a green dot, that could be an opportunity to buy the dip, or you're in one of these strong goes. And then you have these triangles, the red triangles and green triangles. So these are like interim places where the trend might reverse. So kind of cool. And of course, you know, they work on all the time frames. And then we've also got this guy. This is the squeeze, the go no go squeeze, which draws these crazy I don't even know how you grids, I guess. And the longer that price stays kind of going sideways, building momentum sideways, this grid, I don't know what you call them, but these horizontal grid levels keep stacking and stacking and stacking. And once they get to the top here, there's like 6 of them, I believe. Then you're looking for breaks in either direction. as like meaningful potential breaks. So we saw here, you had price consolidating, then you had these stacking, price broke down, and we got a big flush lower. So now we're seeing the same thing. We're starting to see those stacking here. So maybe, I don't know, maybe they'll continue flushing lower, or maybe they'll reverse it. I don't know. But anyway, I know that doesn't answer your question. I don't have an answer to your question, unfortunately. I don't know when or if Go No Go is going to be scannable, but it would be really cool if it could be. So maybe that's something that'll get added with that paid suite in the future. The paid suite is going to be launched along with the all-new TrendSpider Marketplace, which also doesn't exist yet, but we'll be going live early next year. I don't have an exact date, but going live early next year, and folks will be able to sell indicators and things via that marketplace. So it's going to be available then. What's up, Brian? Long time no see. How are you? Hope you're well. What are you trading today? What are we looking at? What brings you here? I've got 10 people here and only 2 people said hello. That makes me sad. If you're here and you're tuned in, where are you tuned in from? What's your name? And what brought you here? Are you a TrendSpider trader, or are you not yet a TrendSpider trader? We have a great sale going on right now for New Year's. The New Year's sale, you can see it right over there, up to 72% off. I've got about half an hour today, guys. I could be here till about 1 o'clock Eastern. So if you've come here with questions, now is the time to be asking them. Do not be shy. Don't be afraid to ask questions here. Any question is a good question. You just got back from Tanzania. Wow, cool. What was going on in Tanzania? Let's take a look at Pfizer. Oh, wow, this thing has been a dog for the entire year. Let's zoom out a little bit. Oh, wow, what a spot. This is actually really interesting, huh? They just swiped those lows at 26 there. That would have been a monster buy. I love it when they do things like this. These big, important, long-term highs and lows. Put bids just below them or just above, offers just above them. Let them come in, take all the stops. Safari and driving to Zanzibar. Brian, what a life. How was that trip? That sounds fun. I don't know anything about Zanzibar. Ooh, they pay a 5% dividend. Cool. Let's check out AstraZeneca here. Yeah, totally different world. Crazy. Ah, excuse me. Seems like a logical place for it to kind of pause a little bit. Let's see what the auto trends are doing. Yeah. Let me also do this. You've also got this guy right here. That's what you were doing, or driving. Yeah, I know, but like, did you get to see like cool animals and stuff? Billy MHZ. What's up, Billy? How we doing? I don't know anything, literally nothing about any healthcare names. I'm completely ignorant on healthcare names. I don't know what they do. I don't know what to expect. Seasonality on AZN coming into a little bit of weakness in the next couple of months, potentially. Go to PFE and see. What's up, Siobhan? How are you? What brings you here today? Looks like PFE kind of similar. Actually, January, weakest month of the year historically for PFE. This is going back since 1974. We can tighten this up a little bit. Look, just the past 10 years. Gets even worse the past 10 years. So, Brian. Agree with you on that about pharma. I'm interested to know, though, I was having a conversation recently with my buddy Riley. And Riley was talking about the ways in which AI is going to change pharma in the years to come. And I had never really thought too deeply about that idea. But that's a really interesting idea. If they start letting AI loose on big ideas, cancer and these sorts of things, what kind of things can AI solve for us when it comes to health and wellness? I don't know if that's being considered yet, or if any of that is being priced in. I mean, clearly PFE is doing poorly. I think, generally speaking, XLH? No, what's the healthcare index? Let's see if this works. Yeah, it's way too many. XBI? That's biotech, huh? Wow, back to highs. So biotech looking quite a bit like the Russell small caps. Really? Wrapping up a great year. Good on you, Billy. I'm so glad to hear that it was a great year for you. And XBI right there at the anchored VWAP from the all-time high. I mean, like, to the penny we got rejected there. Go trend in the go fish category. Interesting to see XBI. Let's go back as far as we can. Second strongest performing month of the year is January. If we go back just 10 years, second strongest performing month, tied for June, or tied with June. Oh, you used to work at Novartis. Interesting. I kind of get that sense. Like, the people that are really into pharma tickers have pharma backgrounds. So do you think, Brian, that that's possible? Do you think that AI could come in and like make scientific discoveries that we were not aware of or that we didn't consider? Do you think, I would think it's possible, but do you think the powers that be will allow that to happen? So much money is made, of course, on people staying sick, right? Just like here, what do you mean? AI models what if scenarios. Got you. So you don't think it's possible? You don't think AI, like maybe not like what about like a general intelligence? Got you. That makes sense. AI gets you guys thinking about other opportunities or other potentialities. I feel like there's another main healthcare index, right? Healthcare. XLV. Does it look like Biotech? Oh, wow. You know what this looks like? This looks like Amazon. Like in 2021. Kind of. Doesn't it? Man, when this breaks, holy moly. That is a huge base that it is building out, is it not? Looks like the anchor VWAP from the March, well, the COVID lows. It's been the key support spot for the past year, really the past year and a half. Yeah, so here you go, XLV. And then if you wanted to do those comparisons, just do equals. So like XLV divided by PFE. Look at that. Holy moly. It's PFE relative to XLE. Terrible. I mean, just how many years of gains? Literally, it's given back the entire COVID move. As of like what, 2 weeks ago? Wild. Huge volume on that weekly candle too. When would I say XLV has broken out? You know, that's a really good question. And the truth be told, I don't have a really good answer for you. I look at highs that were gained. And so you have your, this is just me, you know, like this isn't necessarily right, you know, GSAL, but this is kind of how I look at it, is like, I look at highs that were gained. And so you have your 2021 high back in September. And yeah, there were other highs there, right? You had a new high here in December. You had another new high in April. You had a high relative to this September high here in December of last year. But they never really gained. And when I say gained, when I think of gaining, when I think of levels gained and lost, if this is your level and price is trading into it and then does this, if it fails below it, it hasn't gained it yet. And it does this and it fails below it, hasn't gained it yet, in my opinion. And it does this and then it does that and it holds and it continues, then I feel like it's gained. Now, is that right? Not necessarily, but that's kind of how I would look at it. And that's how I think about it. So for a level to be gained, I kind of feel like it has to get tested and held. Because levels can get, you can make new highs and still make a new low, right? So to me, the level to gain is this one, this 136. So like maybe if they do continue higher, maybe they take out some of these highs, because you got to figure you've got people who are short, who have stops around in here somewhere, you know, just at old highs. They have stops up there. They're going to get stopped out. Price is going to push through them, stop them out. And then there will be some sort of corrective activity of some kind. And it doesn't have to come right back down into this level, or it could maybe slightly break down below this level. I don't know. It could pull back just a little bit and continue. But to me, the key level to gain here is this one. Because it just never, though we made new highs, it never really held them. We continuously made lower lows too. So you made a new high here. Hold on. You made a new high here. And then we took out these lows ever so slightly right here. So you made a new high and a new low. And then you made another new high. And then you made another new low. Right? So you kind of had like a broadening pattern where they were like expanding the range. This and this, in essence. And then they started actually making higher lows, but they haven't really gained anything yet. So, I don't know. That's how I look at it. Connecting all the highs, it seems to be breaking out to the upside. So when you say that, see, this is where things get tricky, right? Presumably you're talking about like this. Exactly, Brian, that's exactly what happened. And, you know, during this period of time, end of 2021 into 2022, the market was getting pretty hurt, you know? Like if we look at SPY during that same time, what happened? January 2022, we were just selling off. So XLV stayed really strong relative to the indexes, you know? Yeah, so ultimately, GSAL, this is right, and I'm right, you know? Like, it's all about your own personal... At the end of the day, and I was having this conversation just the other evening with a new friend, and we were talking about risk to reward. And at the end of the day, whether you're taking the trade because it breaks out of this horizontal level, or you're taking the trade because it breaks out of this diagonal level, it doesn't really matter who's right. It matters what you're risking. So if I'm taking the trade on the breakout of this level, and let's say I want to be long on the breakout and I want to get out of this trade if they make a new low, then all I know is what my R needs to be. And everybody has different R requirements. R being risk. How much are you willing to risk on any given trade? Excuse me. And so for me, when I'm thinking about a trade, I'm thinking about R before anything. Whether I'm trading because of a breakout or a pullback, a moving average or a horizontal level or whatever, I'm thinking about R. And so if I know that I want to buy the breakout of a particular level, wherever that level is, doesn't matter, or a thing, a moving average, an indicator of any kind, then the first thing I need to determine is where I'm wrong, right? And presumably where I'm wrong is if they go and they make new lows, I'm wrong on my long. So if a new low is here, according to this time frame, if a new low is there, then maybe I want to stop out like just a little below it. Like they can wick through it and it not really count, just the same way they did here, where they kind of traded above it and then reverse, traded above it and then reverse, traded above it and then reverse. Like they can do that and reverse. They could trade just below this and reverse. So maybe I want to take that into consideration. And then I just pull my measurement tool up to where my R value makes sense. And so for me, I'm always looking for about 3R. 3R is a pretty safe R value. Just means you only got to be right 33% of the time. You're risking $1 to make $3. And of course, this varies if you're utilizing options, right? We're just talking dollar for dollar here. So then if I know that, that's how I decide if the trade even makes sense for me. You know? That's how I decide if it's the right thing for me. And that's why I say, like, it doesn't really matter how you analyze. If you want to buy this breakout, and let's say that you bought it right on that breakout. I'll remove these things real quick. Well then, where my head is at is you would be setting your entry kind of right there. Again, set your risk to reward wherever you set your stop wherever you want to be getting out of the trade. Maybe you want to get out of this trade if it breaks below that diagonal level. Maybe set a stop there and then pull your R tool up. And so this gives you kind of an idea of like what you're risking, where price has to get for what you're risking. I'm just personally a horizontal levels guy. So that's what I look at. I look at horizontal levels. It's not necessarily right or wrong. I would argue also. So here is the, let me make this a little bit thicker. Here is your low to high that you're kind of trading within, right? This is the swing that you're trading within. Meaning price is within the boundaries of this high and this low. And you have a higher low here. You have a higher low here. Relative to this. Right? So you've got multiple higher lows having been made. And generally, the idea with trend is if they can't put in a lower low, then you got to expect them to make a new high. So an expectation of a continuation higher past these previous highs seems logical. Doesn't mean it will happen, but it seems logical. Yeah, so G-Sal, that's kind of how I always think about it. I'm personally not a breakout buyer. It's just too darn tricky to be a breakout buyer. The only time breakout buying really works is when the trend is just like, when momentum is just super strong. And usually what will happen, if that's not the case, is you'll get failed breakouts and you'll get something that looks more like this, you know? And then much later, you'll get some sort of like actual extension type of move. And this could happen, you know, we don't know. Or it could pause here, come back into range some. You know, it's hard to know. It's hard to know what's going to be, how it's going to go. But just generally speaking, again, if you're thinking about R, think about R and think about how long you want to be in this trade. Like I'm using a weekly chart here. If we were to go to an hourly, things look totally different on an hourly chart. I mean, this thing has just been ripping since November 1st, right? I mean, realistically, that's what it's been doing. So then, you know, on an hourly chart, pretty much always going to anchor a VWAP from a near-term low or a near-term high. This one hasn't really been very important. Kind of anchor from somewhere around in here. This one's a little bit more important. Price actually tested a couple of times. You can do the old Brian Shannon Alpha Trends anchored VWAP handoff. Every time price, kind of the last test of the previous anchored VWAP, the last major test before continuation, you can re-anchor and you can see how it's holding, and continuing. So perhaps you could anchor again here. Perhaps. Not saying that this is going to ultimately work, but this one hasn't really been tested. It got tested immediately, but, you know, maybe on the short term, 135 needs to come back into this. I don't know. There's all kinds of different ways you can think about it. You said like NVIDIA 2023. Yeah, basically. I mean, the thing here as well, it's kind of the same idea. They had a hard time making new lows, did they not? And when they made a new low, it was because they failed to make a new high. So, right, here to here, that's a higher low, a higher high, a higher low, a higher high, a higher low, a higher high, a higher low, a lower high, a lower low. Right? If they cannot make, I mean, that's just how trend is. If they can't continue and make a new high like that, then they gotta probably make a new low. And so that's what they did. They made a new low. You had a bunch of stops underneath here. They wicked out all those stops, and then they made a new high relative to this one. So then when it pulled back, they held it, put in a higher low. Now they're failing a new high here, potentially. So this could be setting up a reversal. I don't know. They really got to make new highs. They got to continue to make new highs. If they cannot make a new high, then you got to anticipate a new low. Trend. At least that's how I look at it. Is that right? Well, it's right for me, but that doesn't mean it's right for you, you know? And this is where I think a lot of traders they stumble. This is where a lot of arguments happen, right? Because two people can be right and see two totally different things. I always say if folks just talked about time frames, if folks would like preface all of their trade ideas with like, I'm trading this time frame, that would probably clear up a lot of confusion for a lot of people. Looks like Q's trying to put in a higher low here. Yeah, cool. Giselle, right on. Like I said, it's just, that's how I think about it. And sometimes I'm right and sometimes I'm wrong. And ultimately, at the end of the day, it all boils down to that R value. I can be wrong 2/3 of the time and it'd be okay. Time cycle tool. Talk to me about that. What is that? Can you give me a link to something? Nice, Brian. Well done, sir. That's awesome. Well done. Good for you. I do also love to do what you did. Taking the initial capital of the position out. Like JC from All Star Charts, they always talk about and Sean as well. They always talk about at the double. When you're at a double, take out half, cover your original position. I like to subscribe to that behavior as well, personally. What do we think? Do you guys think we have a chance of in the next 3 hours running it back all the way up to the highs? You think they're going to close it at highs? Exactly, Brian. That's it. That's the way to do it, man. Put you in a low stress mode. Just let the cash, let the position go to 0 or hero. And clearly, if you have something if you have a company, it's a great company. Clearly, NVIDIA has proven themselves to be a great company especially over the past, year and a half? I mean, there were doubts about it over the years. But it sure has been a monster. Just really, really unbelievable. This was the cruelest thing ever. They do this sort of stuff all the time. So cruel. Take out those big important lows. Tons of stops down there. Cruel. Y'all, I got about 10 minutes. Like I said, it's a short one. So if anybody has any TrendSpider specific questions, now is the time to ask those questions. I will not be live again until next year. AKA next Wednesday. Can you guys believe? I can't believe it's 2024 already. What is going on? Time is flying. There's a few of you guys here. I've only talked to a few of you, but there's more that are here than I've actually talked to. So if you're here and you have any questions, now's the time. Hit me with them. Yeah, G South. So can you link me to, because I'm not familiar with time cycle. I just don't know anything about that. Cycle. Oh, BKKT. I was looking at this. I was looking at this the other day. I mean, you know, it's one of those like, I presume this is maybe a relatively low float name. This is kind of like a little Wyckoff thing that they did, sort of. You had all those lows. They swoop the lows, and then they reverse it powerfully. And now they've essentially come back to the top of the range. They were going for these highs, looks like. Certainly had a ton of volume on the 27th. What was that, Wednesday? I don't know. I mean, I think that this name is just used for these sorts of purposes. Like, historically, yeah, I mean, that's really gross looking. Now, does that mean it can't run? You have a huge fair value gap here at 14 bucks. I don't know, to believe that this move is real and that it's going to continue, I would want to see like massive volume, and you're just really not seeing it. Like, there is volume. There's some volume. It's higher than normal. Where's my arrow? I always lose it. There it is. All right. So you can see that volume is definitely above average, but like, it's not that, and it's not that. So I would have, I mean, could it continue? Absolutely, it could continue. If it has a low float and it has a bunch of shares are short, absolutely could continue. So I would look into those two items. That's not data that we have on the platform at this time. So I can't look into that. Well, I mean, I could look elsewhere. Hold on one sec. Let's see. So per Finviz, 76 million shares. Oh no, 81 million shares outstanding, 75 million float, 21% of the float is short. I don't know how up to date this data is, because this is just free Finviz data, so I don't know. I don't know. But this is just one of those sorts of names that the pumper chat rooms get into. And, you know, if the short exposure is high enough and there are few enough shares on the float, you can come in and cause a serious short squeeze. It's like what we saw in AMD and GME, or AMC rather. But even here, like, Look at the volume that existed on the name beforehand. Look at the volume that came in to push this thing the way that it did. Just massive, 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 unprecedented historical volume coming in at that $4 spot. Really, just really insane. You saw the same with GME, really. Huge volume was coming in during these times. So, I don't know. You know, I don't know. Definitely above average volume here, but is it enough? If we look farther back, here's your point of control. Let's just go point of control from those highs. So we're trading up and over point of control from those highs. Good sign. Been up there for a couple of weeks now too. But again, it all comes down to R. What are you risking? How are you playing it? Decent way to kind of see what it's done, throw a fib on it. Anywho. All right, Brian, take care. Good to see you. Chuck, it does not matter the order of things that you put into the market scanner. However, what does matter is how you define things. And I don't have the time to go over all of the different ways to define things, Chuck, but if you watch the first 10-15 minutes of the live stream that I hosted on Wednesday, I actually go over it in detail. Okay, Isaiah, interesting. It's owned by BlackRock, runs with crypto. You think it pumps if Bitcoin keeps pumping. All right. So then maybe what you should be doing instead of doing analysis on BKKT is you should be doing analysis on Bitcoin. If your theory is that Bitcoin is the thing that's going to push it higher, Bitcoin rejecting at those March highs, but consolidating pretty nicely. So if this thing does continue to push, then yeah, perhaps you're onto something there, Isaiah. And it is a crypto name that hasn't, you know, like the miners or something, it hasn't pumped the same. Yeah, I just answered, Chuck. Does it matter if the order, how you enter the indicators, or they are the same indicator but different criteria? Doesn't matter the order. It only matters how you define them. But Chuck, for real, take a moment, because I don't have the time. I got to get out of here. But take a moment, if you have it today or this weekend or something, and watch the live stream that I hosted on Wednesday of this week. It was titled... Hold on. I can just link you to it if you want. Yeah, this guy. Watch the first 15 minutes of this video, Chuck. I just posted it in the chat. Because that goes over the different ways that you can define things using all, any, or none of the following. And it also goes over how condition groups work. It's important to understand condition groups and how they work. You can define different sets of conditions in different ways and have them all still working together. Anything that's in a condition group however, is going to respond to what you have written here or what you have defined here. So if I have all of the following up here, then whatever's inside the condition group has to be true. If you have a condition group where any of these conditions, X, Y, Z, and then you have a condition group with none of these, and you have all of the following defined here at the top, then whatever's at the top has to be true, and then any of what's in here has to be true, one of them, and all of these in here have to not be true. So hopefully that makes sense. If that doesn't make sense, I get it. I understand why that doesn't make sense, but take time to watch the video that I just posted in the chat because it will explain it in full detail for you. G-Sol, can you link me to a time cycle tool? Is this cycle theory? I mean, I know that we don't have anything like this now. Whether or not something like this will come, as I said earlier, we are opening up we are going to be bringing a marketplace to the platform for people to share and sell indicators. Oh, you did drop a link. Where? Gisao, I don't see it. I do not see that link on my end. If you want to... Weird, it's not... I don't see it. If you want to... If you're on Twitter, send it to me on Twitter. Just DM me. And I can put in a request for you. You can also put in a request too. Right here, this contact us button. Click on that bad boy. Send them a note with a link to that indicator, and just say, "Hey, I would love to see this added to the platform." And at the very least, they'll forward it to shows link as text. Yeah, but I don't even see that, man. I literally don't see any link from you. Weird. If you want to try resending it, go ahead. Maybe I'm not able to see links that you send. Not sure. Okay, so last call for TrendSpider questions. This is the last live stream of the year. Does not answer questions. Okay, you're saying the video doesn't answer questions. Okay, well, what I'm saying is Gordon nowhere. Sorry? What does that mean? Chuck, I'm uncertain what that means. But if simply just typing in indicator conditions, I'm going to say crossed up on indicator, daily, whatever. Chuck, I don't know what you mean, man. And let's say I wanted to add a 15-minute RSI condition. And I want to add a 30-minute, 90-minute volume condition. Does not matter the order that these are in. They can be written this way. They can be written any permutation. And you're going to get back results that meet the criteria, regardless of what order these are in. Does that answer the question? Hopefully it does. Hopefully, yes. Last call, questions, last call. Oh no. My cursor died. No. Oh no. There we go. We're back. All right, last call for questions. Going once, going twice. I'm going to get out of here. I hope that everybody has an incredible... Ooh, there we go. Nice reversal on the cues here. I hope everybody has an absolutely incredible and safe new year. To everybody here who is a TrendSpider trader, we thank you so much for supporting our humble business. What else? If you're not yet a TrendSpider trader, killer sale going on right now. You can save up to 72% off through to the new year. We'd love to have you on board. We do these live streams relatively often, a few times a week. So if I didn't get to your question today or you think of something over the weekend, hit me up. My Twitter handle is there in the chat. Feel free to give me a follow. You can DM me. If you got questions, I'm happy to answer them. And again, I wish you guys a very happy and healthy new year. Be safe. Go crazy. Have a great time. But do it safely. No drunk driving. Get you your Ubers. Pay the fees. You know it's going to be expensive, but pay it anyway. It's cheaper than a DUI. And yeah, have a great New Year's holiday. And we will see you on the flip side in 2024. Can't wait. It's going to be awesome. Take care, everybody. We'll see you soon.